There is a word that often follows oil, and that word is can.
When you lose your livelihood, that's pretty traumatic.
Houston, a new coach has landed. Utah and New York faced off in Salt Lake. Could the Jazz stand pat? And the rumors continue to fly about a Fab Five reunion. We have a Weber update. With Sir Charles on the mend, the Suns have found a new go-to guy.
I think up until this point, he's the smartest player that I've ever played with.
And the top 25 in college hoops is out. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. We will bring you reaction from the Steel City after their Monday night affair. But oh, the fun we will have until then on Sportscenter next. Welcome to the big show. Alongside my tag team partner Keith Oberman, I'm Dan Patrick.
And coming up on this hour on Sportscenter, we bring your bowl poll picture into focus. We'll look out for #1 in college hoops. We start with the good baseball news we mentioned to you last night. Only this time, it's official. Somebody's blinking.
As we told you last night, the baseball owners had made the encouraging move away from the infamous salary cap. Tonight, it is official. The Associated Press quoting John Harrington, CEO of the Boston Red Sox and the owner's new bargainer, as saying the new offer they will propose to the players when talks resume in Washington on Thursday is, quote, not a salary cap in the strictest terms. As ESPN reported yesterday, the owners will switch to a tax. All payrolls would be taxed at a lower percentage. Keith?
Say it with me now. The party's over. Houston, goodbye. The 1-9 Oilers making the obvious move, blowing out not only head coach Jack Pardee, but also assistant head coach Kevin Gilbride. There may have been more to the axing, though, than even the Oilers' sudden energy crisis. The new coach is 36-year-old whiz kid defensive coordinator Jeff Fisher, whom GM Floyd Reese and owner Bud Adams thought they might lose during the upcoming offseason if they didn't promote him. Fisher gets a contract for the rest of the year with options for 3 more years, and Adams expects he'll last at least that long.
One thing was worrying us about Jeff Fisher, if we didn't kind of come to the point now of making this offer to him, that we felt he was going to get some offers at the end of this year. We're hearing that through the grapevine and some pretty reliable sources, and we think we have the man. We had the man right on board here who we wanted to be our head coach and not dilly-dally around with him and make him the head coach at this time.
This is my livelihood. I'm a professional coach, and that's all I do. I don't have a bunch of other jobs doing that. I still like to coach, and when you lose your livelihood, that's pretty traumatic.
There's a lot of pressure in winning, Giff, you know that. And the pressure up to this point, the pressure that we apply on the players generally starts Saturday night and Sunday morning. And that has to change. We've got to apply the pressure Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and back off Saturday and Sunday and let them play. And that's going to be the biggest difference in our approach to getting the team ready to play.
You know, Giff, if Buddy Ryan hadn't been in that fight with Gilbride last year, he might be Houston's head coach today, or at least the sole survivor. He did, so he isn't.
I don't have any reaction at all. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. You get up 34 points and get a head job. Oh, I think I predicted he'd be selling insurance in 2 years, and he's a year ahead of schedule.
He had no comment except those. The 93 and 94 Oilers are as different as the nighttime sky with a full moon or no moon, pun intended. Amazing drops in scoring, 8 fewer points a game, and then also in passing, rushing, and total offense. ESPN's Chris Mortensen also reporting that both the Oilers and Fisher have options over the life of his new 3.5-year contract, that if the Oilers don't want to keep Fisher as the head coach, he then has the option to leave or to stay on as a defensive assistant for 3 years. Mort also reports that Fisher has named Billy Joe Tolliver as his starting quarterback and Lorenzo White as his starting running back. Finally, about Pardee, he is now the ex-coach of the Houston Oilers, the USFL Houston Gamblers, and the University of Houston Cougars. About all the options he has left there would be Rice, Texas Southern, and Houston Baptist. Dan?
On Saturday night, the Knicks began their 4-game road trip with a pit stop in San Antonio. New York not only hit a speed bump, they also suffered a blowout. Pat Riley put the spare on his vehicle and headed up to Utah to meet the Jazz Monday night. To the Delta Burke Center we go, and 8 seconds to go in this one. John Starks has 33, but right now the Jazz look like they're going to win this one as the time is winding down. Malone has 29. Stockton at last count, 22 points and 13 assists. I'm going to guarantee highlights of this game. In fact, it's just winding down. It is just going to be a final, and it is. We'll have highlights coming up a little bit later on during the big show.
George Raveling, still so physically and emotionally spent from a near-fatal September car crash that he could not even attend his own farewell news conference, retired as USC's basketball coach today, and his lawyer said He did not expect Raveling to ever coach again. George Raveling spent 6 weeks in a Southern California hospital after the accident, in which he sustained 9 broken ribs, a fractured pelvis, and a fractured clavicle, and a collapsed lung. He only went home a week ago. Raveling will be replaced by assistant coach Charlie Parker. His attorney read his statement of retirement.
After careful consideration, I have decided to resign my coaching responsibilities at the University of Southern California. Although my health is improving, my present physical state does not allow me to work the sidelines in my accustomed manner.
For 22 years, George Raveling has coached big-time hoops at Washington State, Iowa, and then SC, where he revived the program and made it sing the last 4 years. He's an incredibly hardworking and dedicated man who now wants to go into TV. He worked with me on some of the shows in L.A., and he was the most prepared sports figure with whom I've ever worked, for whatever that's worth. So good luck, George. Yeah.
What about me?
Sports figure.
Thank you. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Over the last 12 years, college basketball's preseason #1 has ended up as the postseason #1 only twice. Duke in '91, UNLV in 1989. With that ominous note in mind, we'll unveil this year's preseason pick and their competition. Arkansas received 63 of the 66 first-place votes, not just because all 5 starters return, but they also have the nation's best inside-outside combo in forward Corliss Williamson and swingman Scotty Thurman. Despite the loss of 3 starters, North Carolina checks in at #2. Dean is counting on 3 sophomores, Jerry McInnes, Rasheed Wallace, and Jerry Stackhouse, to step in and step up their performances. UMass is the only A-10 team in the top 25. Expectations are high in Amherst, where all 5 starters are back from last year. Last year's A-10 Freshman of the Year, Marcus Camby, is a star on the rise. #4 Kentucky will continue to play up-tempo basketball. They need more consistency from junior forward Roderick Rhodes. Arizona's only significant loss from a year ago is a big one. Khalid Reeves is gone, but Damon Stoudemire returns, and Stoudemire might be the most explosive guard in the country. #6 UCLA will be Arizona's main competition in the Pac-10. #7 Maryland received a first-place vote. Surprising, because they are the youngest team in the top 10. All 5 starters are underclassmen. Duke gives the ACC 3 teams in the top 8. Indiana needs to develop a backcourt to go along with all Big Ten forward Allen Henderson. Florida, last year's Final Four Cinderella, is back again at #10. Kansas had last year's Big 8 Newcomer of the Year in Jacques Vaughn. They might have this year's best as well, big man Rafe LaFrentz. #12 Syracuse is the beast of the Big East because of John Wallace and Lawrence Moten. Cincinnati's Bob Huggins, back once again. He recruited size to go along with his trademark defense. Corey Alexander is back for #14 Virginia. He will be teamed with sophomore Harold Dean in the ACC's best backcourt. It always seems that Georgetown needs an outside game to go along with their inside presence. They have center Othella Harrington back. They might have the answer in the outside game in freshman guard Allen Iverson. Michigan coach Steve Fisher has 5 more highly touted freshmen coming in, but he doesn't want to hear the fab word this season. Wisconsin is the only top 25 team with a new coach, as Steve Van Gundy replaces Stu Jackson. Alabama's front line is their key to success. And look for sophomore swingman Ray Allen to improve on last year's 13 points per game for UConn. #20 Michigan State has the country's best shooting guard in Sean Respert. Big country Bryant Reeves rules the paint for Oklahoma State. Kerry Kittles is the big cat for a Villanova team that expects more than another NIT bid. Seniors James Forrest and Travis Best lead an inexperienced Georgia Tech team. #24 Wake Forest revolves around do-it-all guard Randolph Childress. And with Deion Thomas gone, Shelley Clark must stay out of foul trouble for #25 Illinois. ESPN's hoop schedule begins this Wednesday night with the preseason NIT. The Orange squaring off with GW following the early Sportscenter, and then following the next Sportscenter, New Mexico State meets up with the Trojans.
Evidence found in O.J. Simpson's Ford Bronco will be admissible during the trial. So ruled Judge Lance Ito today. He concluded there was no concrete evidence that the vehicle had been tampered with while in police custody. However, the judge said evidence about blood found in the car won't be admitted unless it's supported by additional and more sophisticated testing. And as the attempt to fill out the roster of alternate jurors continue to surprise, one juror asked by Judge Ito if she'd seen anything about the case on TV said yes. She'd seen a promo for a local station's interview with Judge Ito. The judge let the juror remain because he said his 5-part interview with news anchor Tricia Toyota was not about the Simpson case.
Still to come on The Big Show, tomorrow night marks the beginning of the end for Martina's 19-year run. She prepped for her Tuesday night meeting with Gabriella Sabatini with a Monday night doubles match. Also on The Big Show menu, he isn't Dan or Danny, just plain D. We will profile one of Phoenix's favorite sons. The bowl picture is not clear, but don't adjust your set. And the Eagle has landed for the rest of the season. We will run down the NFL's lengthy Hurts list next.
%100% cotton, wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
Sports writers. Ever wonder how they pick football's national champion? It's a highly scientific process. It's time to settle it on the field. Introducing college football's national championship by Sega Sports. 32 top college teams going head-to-head. No sports riders, just great football action. College football's national championship, only on Sega Genesis.
Sega! You've seen 1-800-COLLECT on TV. Here's how it works.
Thank you for calling 1-800-COLLECT. Enter the number you wish to call, area code first. Say your name.
Chris.
Please hold while we place your call.
1-800-COLLECT. Dial it today.
Ever wonder what bears really do in the woods? The Passport from Honda.
Goodyear announces 25% off some of our most popular passenger, performance, and light truck radials. 25% off. But you gotta hurry. The sale ends December 3rd at participating Goodyear retailers.
Sportscenter is brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Office Depot, taking care of business with guaranteed low prices on thousands of brand name office supplies.
The Canadian press reports that NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman and Union boss Bob Goodnow had dinner together tonight. No word on what they discussed, nor what they ate. Right now, it's an unsavory meal. Bruins GM Harry Sinden says things are, quote, pretty grim. He sees no hope of ending the lockout and salvaging the season. Management has a new offer in the works, due perhaps as early as tomorrow, when Bettman and Goodnow bump into each other at the Hockey Hall of Fame inductions in Toronto. The league believed it needed a deal by November 15th in order to get its 60-game intra-conference season started by December 1st. Tomorrow is November 15th. Another hockey note, as we reported last week, former NHL Board of Governors Chairman Bruce McNall, still the president of the LA Kings, was charged with 4 felony counts stemming from a $236 million loan scandal. McNall is expected to plead guilty to the charges. In a plea bargain, he could face 45 years in prison, though his actual jail time is expected to be minimal. McNall is to be arraigned 2 weeks from today.
Football news, Byron Evans' broken leg has done more than just end his season. The injury has put his career in jeopardy, according to the Eagles' trainer. This is how it happened. Tore a knee ligament on the play. Bill Romanowski tries to make the tackle, hits Evans instead. It'll be at least 10 to 12 months before Evans can return. Steve Berline tore cartilage on his left knee in this play. Berline may choose to have the knee scoped. If he does, Jay Schrader will take his place. And be careful if you're a Rams QB. First, Chris Miller, now Chris Chandler. Actually, be careful if you're Rams quarterback named Chris. Chandler sprained his left ankle while being sacked by Chester McLaughlin. Chandler is listed as probable for next Sunday's game against the Niners. Jeff Hostetler went down in yesterday's Raiders-Rams game, suffered a sprained big toe on this play. The injury has been described as not serious. Haas expected to play next Sunday against the Saints. Yes, another quarterback on the mend. Cincinnati's Jeff Blake sprained his ankle on this play. A touchdown toss to Carl Pickens. Blake returned from the injury to rally the Bengals to a victory. He is listed as probable for Sunday's game against the Colts. You kidding? There's no way he misses that game. Don't lead with your head. That's what the Bengals' Steve Broussard did. It resulted in a neck injury that caused numbness in his legs. He's listed as doubtful for that Colts game. And Sterling Sharp continues to battle nagging injuries. This time it's his left hammy, the same one he pulled in Week 4 against Tampa. Sharp will not practice this week. He's questionable for Sunday's game in Buffalo.
It might have been the next to last tennis match of her ineffable 22 years in the sport, or perhaps just the first step towards a Viking funeral for her career. You know, they light you on fire, they put you in a boat, they let you drift out to sea in a blaze of glory. Martina Navratilova took to the court tonight with partner Manon Bologroff in the opening doubles match at the Slims in New York. What she insists will be the last singles tournament of her career against Sean Stafford and Jill Hetherington. Martina tuning it up, unwrapping it, and there it goes. Up one set, Navratilova and partner. Oops, Martina hit Jill Hetherington. Owie, owie, no harm done. On serve, 4-3 Martina and company. Second set, break point. Hetherington serves, Navratilova returns. Hetherington tries the volley, but Martina with a pretty cross-court forehand. They're up 5-3. That was all they needed. That's match point. It's all over. A quick 6-2, 6-3 victory. And Martina's singles match, she is ranked 6th in this tournament, is tomorrow night against Gabby Sabatini. Bad opening draw there, tourney organizers, but singles play open tonight with Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, worried with good reason against Julia Allar. 2 sets split, 3-2 Allar in the second, third set tie break, and Allar with the answer. Up 4-2 in the tie break. Here's match point. And she's beaten the woman who'd won 21 straight matches and 4 straight tournaments, 6-2, 1-6, 7-6, 7-2. And Julie, in the process, did Martina a big favor. If she can get past Sabatini in the opener tomorrow night, she would then face Allar in the quarters instead of Arantxa. Stay tuned.
Gary Gibbs won't say if he'll be back at Oklahoma next year, but he did say he isn't leaving sooner than expected. The Oklahoma head coach held a team meeting on Monday to tell his players he will be with them through this week's game with Nebraska. Also at the team meeting, the team voted to accept a bowl invitation, which figures to be extended by the Copper Bowl. Saturday's Tulsa World newspaper said Gibbs would resign Thursday. Sunday's Daily Oklahoman said his resignation would take effect at season's end. Keith?
From college football, the trash talk to end all trash talk. In advance of the annual Michigan-Ohio State war, Wolverines captain Walter Smith says he and his teammates not only want to beat the Buckeyes, they want to get Coach John Cooper. Well, let's let him say it.
We want to get Cooper fired. That's what I want to do. You know, we want to keep on beating him until he's no longer there.
You know what he was saying, and I know what he was saying, and I'm not going to comment on it anymore. I mean, it's that simple. We all understand what Walter Smith's, where he's from, and if he said it, he meant it. He said it, he meant it. I mean, you can put it down that way if you want it.
If Smith's comments sound like bad sportsmanship, mix in this fact. To begin with, Michigan has never lost to John Cooper. Asked for a reaction to Smith's remark, Michigan quarterback Todd Collins said, "I don't think he meant that. I think that was maybe taken out of context."
America is still 3 weeks away from college football's national holiday, Bowl Announcement Day. Some of the suspense has already been drained from the major matchups, but the Cotton Bowl puzzle still has a few stray pieces. For those possibilities, as well as the rest of the potential bowlers, here's Linda Cohn.
Let's start with the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. The Penn State Nittany Lions are going to Pasadena for the first time since 1923. They'll face Oregon, should the Ducks beat in-state rival Oregon State. Now, if Oregon loses and USC beats crosstown rival UCLA, well, then the Trojans would go. If they both lose, Oregon would win the tiebreaker based on a win over USC earlier this year. Now, barring a minor miracle, the Orange Bowl lineup is set. Nebraska has all but clinched its 4th straight trip to Miami as Big 8 champs. They're on course to meet the home field Hurricanes. The Canes face one last test, that being against number 17 Boston College on November 26th. The picture starts to blur as we move to the Sugar Bowl. The winner of the SEC championship game between Florida and Alabama will be there. That much is sure. But the opponent is up in the air. Now, should Alabama win, then it would probably be Florida State. But should Florida win, well, then a Gator-Seminole rematch would be avoided. Florida could play a non-Rose Bowl Southern Cal should the Trojans beat UCLA or Boston College if they upset Miami. The waters become even muddier at the Fiesta. Colorado is supposedly locked in, but there is talk that they may try to get Fiesta officials to pass on them so they could play at the Sugar Bowl. Meanwhile, Florida State may ask the Cotton to pass on them so they could play at the Fiesta. Stay tuned. Perhaps the murkiest mire lies at the Cotton Bowl. Notre Dame could return to Dallas, but they must beat either Air Force or USC to qualify for postseason play. BC could be there if they split or win out against West Virginia and Miami. or possibly a second-place ACC team, maybe number 25, North Carolina State. In the Southwest Conference, no less than 5 teams are eligible for a Cotton bid. If Texas Tech wins out against Houston and TCU, they're in. If Tech should slip and Baylor wins out, well, then the Bears are in. If TCU wins out and Baylor and Tech lose, then the Horned Frogs would go. If Tech, Baylor, TCU, Rice, and Texas all finish at 4-3, head-to-head results are taken in account, as is, starting from the top, in descending order through the non-tied entities. Southwest Conference Bylaw 8.03 and Tiebreaker Formula Appendix J, which means that both Texas and Rice are still mathematically alive. And finally, in case of insoluble head-to-head tiebreakers, Texas Tech goes by the last appearance rule. Got it?
Could we do that again? This Wednesday night, Bino Cook will continue his series on Heisman heroes as he catches a few passes from 1966 winner Steve Spurrier. Showtime, 5 Eastern.
Still ahead tonight, the latest on the story we first told you about last Tuesday, Wither Weber. Oh, Chris. And a look at a guy who's already had 2 big changes in his NBA career, but he still hasn't found what he's looking for.
Great fall fashions stop at the Warren Mall.
Carpetown Furniture urges you to postpone any buying decisions until you hear the facts. Fact, Carpetown Furniture has the largest selection of furniture, mattresses, and carpet than any store in Buffalo, Rochester, or Erie. Nobody's bigger. Nobody. Fact, if you don't find it at Carpetown Furniture, you won't find it anywhere. Shop acres of quality home furnishings at rock-bottom prices. Only at Carpetown Furniture in Olean. Carpetown Furniture, it's big. You'll find it.
Radio Shack to kick off ESPN's NFL Pro Bowl sweepstakes. To enter, drop by any Radio Shack, vote your favorite players into the NFL Pro Bowl, and you could win a trip to see the game in Hawaii or great Radio Shack prizes. Here comes a voter now. She cuts left. She's racing towards the ballot box. Uh-oh.
I hope you're voting for me.
Vote for you? You couldn't sack a bag of groceries.
Whoa! ESPN's NFL Pro Bowl sweepstakes. Enter at Radio Shack.
Join us Tuesday for the latest edition of the NBA Today. This week, Roy Tarpley's imminent return in Dallas. Can the Rockets repeat? Not only the latest on Chris Webber, but he'll be a live guest. Show's 5:30 Eastern time. Don't miss that because Chris Webber is making news every day. On that subject, the Bullets say it's a long shot, but negotiations continue between Washington and the Warriors on a trade for the restricted free agent Chris Webber, in which the Bullets would probably give up Tom Gugliotta and unsigned first-round draft choice Juwan Howard. But Webber told USA Today that his reason for wanting to play for the Bullets is to be reunited with his old Michigan teammate, Juwan Howard. Oops. Tomorrow's Washington Post will report that Webber's people have told the Bullets they're going to talk to the LA Clippers sometime this week and then get back to the Bullets. From Planet Lovetron to Sweet Georgia Brown, Darryl Dawkins, the one-time Chocolate Thunder Dunkster of the Philly 76ers, has joined the Harlem Globetrotters. The Sioux Falls Skyforce of the CBA thought Dawkins was joining them after 5 years in Italy, but he says playing for the Globies is a lifelong dream and he couldn't pass it up. The CBA team also mentions in passing that Dawkins got a lifetime contract. Get out of the way! And in an unconnected story, assistant coach Mo Cheeks, Dawkins' contemporary with the Sixers, worked out with Philly today as a player. He may be activated as a guard. The club was planning to retire his number in February. Hold that thought. Next, the senior basketball tour. Anybody know where Mark Ibaroni is?
Danny Manning has had glimpses of heaven and hell during his basketball career. In 1988, he single-handedly led the Kansas Jayhawks to the national title. His spirits lost a little altitude when he was drafted by the Clippers. After 6 years in basketball's purgatory and a brief stop in Atlanta, Manning is full of sunshine once again. Shelley Smith has his story.
From the Los Angeles Clippers, Danny Manning.
The effort to bring Danny Manning to the Phoenix Suns was actually born 2 years ago during the All-Star game in Salt Lake City.
I was trying to lobby to get him to come to Phoenix, or at least consider it, and he said, we don't have the numbers. I said, well, what's the number? What do you need? And we went back and forth the whole All-Star meeting that we had.
But in the end, the deciding factor wasn't the money numbers. Manning had languished too long with teams he didn't feel could come close to winning a championship. With other teams offering long-term contracts worth up to $5 million a year, Manning took a one-year, $1 million offer from the Suns for the chance to win a title. The meaning hasn't been lost on the players he's joined.
Him coming here and turning down all that money just to play on a team that has a chance to win a championship shows a lot of guys some heart and desire to win, so you got to respect that in a guy.
When I heard, you know, things broke into negotiations during the summer and he finally made a statement that this is where I'm going to play, I said, you know, I respected him a lot before, but I said, this is a good man.
There are a lot of places that I could have gone to, or Tisdale or Shays. But, you know, we looked around at Phoenix, and great city, wonderful organization, super facility, and a very talented team. And, you know, I was at the point in my career where I didn't want to let money keep me from doing something that I wanted to do.
And so far, with Charles Barkley, Danny Ainge, and Kevin Johnson ailing, Manning has been the man for the Suns, who are playing without a true force at center. Newly acquired Wayman Tisdale is helping. The Suns are mainly relying on Manning's versatility.
He's a superstar at a lot of positions, and we think we can be a great team if we have all our guys healthy, but we feel that even with guys of the stature of Barkley and KJ and Ainge out, we still have a chance to win any time we play because of guys like Manning.
He's just not a scorer, he's a rebounder, you know, a great assist man, and just another weapon in the low post along with Wayman. And with Charles out now, he's kind of a guy that we can go to in the crunch because he plays a lot of different positions and he's very versatile.
Manning also brings leadership to this team. They've had Barkley the last 2 years. He's obviously a very vocal leader. Manning's different. He's quiet. And his new teammates say he's just as effective.
Everybody's quieter than Charles. He's quiet. He picks his spots. I mean, he talks. He's just not a real vocal person, but he picks his spot. I mean, he communicates his point on a regular basis.
Chuck just speaks his mind, and it doesn't matter what it is, and half the time he doesn't make any sense. So, you know.
He's a coach on the court. He's, you know, he's, I think up until this point, he's the smartest player that I've ever played with. When you have a power forward on the court that's not just a great basketball player, but also understands the X's and O's, I mean, it really makes my job as a point guard much easier.
And that is important, especially for a team filled with players who have only one goal.
We just have a lot of veterans, and we're past the point of individual accomplishment. I think a lot of us have received a few personal goals in terms of receiving individual awards, but we want the whole thing, and that's why we're in Phoenix.
I don't know why he did what he did, you know, but Wayman, Danny, I don't know exactly what their reasons were, but whatever it is, I'm glad they did.
Manning has taken the place of Cedric Ceballos, who was shipped to the Lakers, but Ced's numbers from last year compare with Manning's this season. Phoenix plays in Portland coming up on Tuesday night.
And coming up here on Monday night, the mailman has a big pouch full of points for the New York Knicks, and they don't want delivery. Highlights next.
It's North versus South as James Toney battles Roy Jones Jr. for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship of the World. The Uncivil War. Live Friday, November 18th from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Available only on pay-per-view. Call your cable operator to order. Brought to you by the undisputed king of beers, Budweiser.
He's a private investigator.
I hear the lady screaming my name. Shane! Shane!
Where's Lorena Bobby when you need her?
She's his new partner.
Mike Tyson could beat Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
Mike Tyson can't spell Muhammad Ali.
Together, they're putting the competition to shame.
If you sing James Brown songs, dogs will not attack.
1, 2, 3. Keenan Ivory Wayans.
All the dogs on the right go.
Jada Pinkett.
Keep your day job.
A low-down, dirty shame. Rated R. Starts November 23rd.
Science is best done in an interactive environment. You have to have this incredible curiosity, and you have to figure out how it works. You're not learning something that someone else has written down. You get to discover that. And the best time for a scientist is when you get a result that is exactly the opposite of what you thought was going to happen. Because in that brief moment of time, the whole world changes.
Glaxo, on the brink of discovery.
It's everybody working together that's going to beat the disease.
3 schools from the Great Midwest Conference have agreed to leave and form a yet-to-be-named new conference. Marquette, St. Louis, and Alabama Birmingham will join Cincinnati, Memphis, Houston, Louisville, Southern Miss, and Tulane. DePaul has reportedly decided to join as well, but may wait until Wednesday to make that official. The one small problem here is that the move would leave Dayton as the lone remaining member of the Great Midwest. Think of all the championships that would mean. Competition could begin in 1995 with all sports except football.
The Knicks were coming off their first loss of the season when they headed into Utah Monday night, but New York didn't expect to find an outpouring of sympathy from the Jazz, who had dropped their last 3. To the Delta Center we go, and Riles and the Knicks had lost both games to Utah last season. Stockton and Malone playing a big role. The mailman gets the nice pass underneath. 1 minute later, same story. This time, the pick and roll. Malone 17 points in the first half. The Knicks come back with the help from the rookie from Notre Dame, Monty Williams. The Knicks within 4. Olders is shot in traffic. John Starks was en fuego. And just a moment of silence to watch Starks hit threes. Of course, we remember last year in the NBA Finals when he had his problems. That line is still too close, but still a great shooting display from Starks. 5 of 8 from three-point range in the first half. Tied at 53 at the break. Karl Malone with the rejection. Starks wasn't finished. A 4-point play on this one, fouled by Felton Spencer. The Knicks led it by 5, but here comes Malone. Jazz on a 9-zip run. Stockton converts. Stockton stayed hot. Look at John. Shake and bake, pull up, and nothing but the bottom of the net. Stockton is pumped. And then Jamie Watson playing for Jeff Hornacek gets the big jam. The Jazz win it. This game was decided in the 4th period when Utah shot 60% from the floor. New York shot 19. It was like last year's championship game against the Houston Rockets. Utah now 3-4. New York outscored 31-13 in the 4th period. Starks with 35. Malone with a season-high 29. Stockton goes for 14 points, or 20 points and 14 assists. Still to come in this blockbuster hour-long show, the Mavs. And the Mavs nod. We forget about last year. Is there a dynasty brewing in Dallas?
Announcement that will come as a shock and surprise. I have decided to retire from the field of entertainment so that I may pursue a dream. I want to play in the NBA.
Why are you doing this?
I have achieved everything possible in my own field.
You ever win an Oscar?
Were you ever nominated?
No, not an Oscar.
When's the last time you played basketball?
Full court. 5-on-5 full court.
Commissioner Stern, what is your reaction to Bill Murray's press conference?
I saw it, and I have no idea how it got into our building. Our security has been increased at the facility. We don't think we're going to have a repeat of this, certainly not on our real estate. Look, this is a great game, and no one individual is going to be able to ruin it, so thank you very much.
What kind of chance does Murray have of making it, sir? Commissioner?
You know, American Express has this new card out, and they act like as soon as you get one, you'll spend your days arranging flowers someplace grand, where everything smells like potpourri. I mean, come on. A credit card is a tool. You pick a hammer based on how well it hammers. You pick a credit card based on how useful it is. And no credit card is more useful than MasterCard, because no card is more accepted. I mean, you can use MasterCard at 3 times more places than American Express, so you can use it for groceries, or sheetrock, or trips to Sweden, and pretty much anything else you need, even flower arrangements. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
The field is so deep now in tennis, and there's so much to enjoy. You see 2 guys digging so deep inside themselves that they push you to a new level.
The IBM ATP Tour Championship tomorrow on ESPN. Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, knockout artists Jeremy Williams and Levi Billups go toe-to-toe. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
The Mavericks are only 4 games deep into their schedule, and they're already more than 2 months ahead of last year's pace. It was on January 29th when Dallas claimed their 3rd win of the season. In 1992, they got their 3rd win on January 19th. Charlie Steiner takes a closer look at a franchise trying to hide its scars.
In Dallas in the 90s, things went from bad to worse.
The Mavericks were the gang that couldn't shoot straight or pass or do just about anything right. 24 wins in the past 2 seasons, 140 losses. But this season, under new management, or more precisely, back to the old one, the Mavs are the NBA's early season surprise. Being so bad for so long, the Mavs have won big in the lottery.
Goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
In the past 3 years, they've added Jim Jackson, Jamal Mashburn, and Jason Kidd, who are at the moment averaging 75.6 points per game, which through the first 2 weeks of the season makes them the highest scoring trio on any one team in the NBA. Their combined ages of 67 is just 4 years older than their coach, Dick Motta, the 4th winningest coach in NBA history, and he has transformed a team that had been in disarray and openly revolting against last year's coach, Quinn Buckner, into a unit that scraps and dives and does whatever is necessary to get the job done.
We got a new coach in here, and he's using our skills to the fullest, really, and we all want to play for him, and I think that's the biggest thing. We're all having a lot of fun.
There are the role players like Popeye Jones, who has been a double-figure rebounder in every game so far this season, and he is 5th in the league. And Lucius Harris, a second-year guard who has averaged 11 points in the past 3 games. And centers Donald Hodge and Lorenzo Williams, whose primary function is to play way up at the high post and essentially stay out of the way. That's the Motta way. His offense is driven by his forwards, whether it was Chet the Jet Walker or Butterbean Love with the Bulls, or Elvin Hayes and Bob Dandridge with the Bullets, or Mark Aguirre and Jay Vincent in Motta's first go-around in Dallas. The center clears out to allow the forward to post up, which is exactly what Jamal Mashburn has been doing all season, especially in Saturday night's career and franchise record high 50-point scoring performance against the Bulls and Scottie Pippen, a 4-time All-League defensive player. And Jim Jackson, after 4 games, the second leading scorer in the NBA, has also flourished in the Motta system. And the 3-1 Mavericks, who go in search of their 4th win of the season tomorrow night, something they didn't achieve until February 2nd last season, expect Roy Tarpley to be activated on Thursday.
Coming up the day after the Young Isn't Restless, we'll take temperatures in San Francisco and analyze how they did what they did when the big show rolls onward.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, lady. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good.
Who are you calling guys?
Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Yes, I am.
All the trading, all the stats, all the matchups, and if you're lucky, a chance to kiss Lord Stanley's cup. 84-game season, NHL 95.
Before the new Nissan Maxima became available to the public, it was tested on over 100 specially replicated road surfaces at our proving grounds. This helped us in developing a unique suspension that allows the Maxima to ride smoother than an Acura Legend LS, yet out-corner a BMW 540i, which means in a Maxima you'll own the road, whether it's smoothly paved or otherwise. The new Maxima from Nissan.
I'm not a shot. I'm not a shot. I'm not a shot. I am not a shot. Just kidding. Fake shots. NHL 95.
To everyone struggling to build a future in this era of challenge, uncertainty, and change, come in under the strength of billions of dollars in assets. To everyone wrestling with the rising costs of doing business, commercial insurance, workers' comp, come in under a program that has helped save American companies over $300 million. Come in under America's umbrella, the Travelers Insurance Companies.
Down, boy. Down, boy. Heel. Lay down. Lay down. Good dog. Lay down on D. NHL 95. EA Sports.
Here's a question for you. Could Joe Montana have beaten the Cowboys in their top-rated pass defense yesterday? Or was the change in QBs in San Francisco 2 summers back the primary reason the 49ers prevailed? The Niners changed to a quarterback who could run, Steve Young. And this week, we also changed quarterbacks temporarily with the Monday evening quarterback and the analysis of the young and the lossless. Here's Chris Myers.
The 49ers' most successful play against Dallas was a play they had never run in their offense before. Brown's set was put in just for this game to take advantage of the Cowboys' pursuit. With the guard pulling strong, Steve Young fakes to the halfback. The tackle blocks down on Charles Haley, and Young takes off running. This worked every time the 49ers called it. Young ran 8 times for 60 yards. The Cowboys secondary, which rolled extra coverage toward one receiver in the game, leaving the other one one-on-one, got burned when they rolled to John Taylor's side, leaving Jerry Rice alone with Larry Brown. Rice went 57 yards for the touchdown. In the fourth quarter, with San Francisco protecting a 14-7 lead, facing 3rd down and 5, Dallas defensive backs rolled toward Rice's side, and Taylor turned up the go route for a 32-yard gain, keeping the drive alive. Tight end Brent Jones stayed in to block against stunts from the Dallas defense much of the game. His only catch was the game-sealing touchdown. Jones blocks down and scrambles down, leaving the safety with the impression that it's a running play. Then Jones gets up and gets in when Young tosses him the ball, catching Dallas in a blitz. Sometimes it's all in the grip, and while it's never easier to throw in wet weather, it appears to create a major slip in Joe Montana's game. Montana grips the middle part of the football with 2 fingers over the lace. The Chargers' defense did its part in rainy Kansas City, but Montana's hold on the ball made it difficult for him to throw. Stan Humphries, a better bad-weather passer, wasn't really affected by the dampness. He grips the smaller part of the football with just 1 finger on the lace. Earlier this season, Montana was shut out for the first time as a starting pro quarterback when he struggled in the rain at home against the Rams. He didn't weather the storm in last year's AFC Championship game either, played in Buffalo in inclement weather. In Montana's last 3 games in the rain, the future Hall of Famer has been just an average Joe, throwing the wet ball against the Chargers, Rams, and Bills. He did not throw a touchdown pass. Drew Bledsoe threw a lot of passes Sunday. His record 45 completions in 70 attempts against Minnesota gave him 426 yards, more than the Chargers and Chiefs had combined. His completions were more than the amount in 10 of 11 other NFL games. And while Drew threw and threw, the Vikings, among the top 3 defenses in quarterback sacks, didn't get to Bledsoe once.
For the Niners and the Cowboys, this was the calm after the storm. But in 2 months from now, these two could be meeting in another so-called game of the decade. Steve Young said Sunday's win proves, quote, "We are a team to be contended with, nothing more." Cowboy coach Barry Switzer wasn't ready to hand out verbal bouquets to the Niners.
When you play someone and don't give them your best shot, it always disappoints you, because when you play someone in a big ball game, it's as good as you are, or about as good as you are, you think you are, and you don't play as well as you can play, then you really don't know whether they are as good as you are when you help them.
You know, there's no question that it was a meaningful win, and everybody's pretty excited about what took place. I think it just, what happens, though, in a situation like this is that now all of a sudden you realize then the importance of your next ball game. And your emotional high becomes short-lived, and you get that grim sense of what's about to take place with the next team that's coming up.
So what do the Niners do for an encore? Well, they appear on ESPN this Sunday night when they host the Rams. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann described the pageantry starting at 8 Eastern. If you're tuning over from the Monday night game, we'll get you caught up to date on everything that's happening. And we will also give you the killer bees, the bumps, the bites, the bruises. We will also go back to Three Rivers. We'll talk to those victorious Steelers. Plenty more when Keith and I return. Also some baseball news when we return.
Where will you save on beautiful furniture? I'm talking about unique furniture styles by famous names like Lexington, Hardin, Century, Stanley, and Heckman. The answer is Nanette's Home Furnishings in Olean. Today you'll get the guaranteed lowest price within 150 miles on wonderful bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, or anything else you need. At Nanette's Home Furnishings, you'll get a real value for your dollar. Beautiful area rugs, wall-to-wall carpeting, window treatments, lamps, mirrors, all at the guaranteed best best price in writing, and they'll even bring the store to you. Jamestown, Ellicottville, Bradford, or Warren. There are local representatives for wherever you live. For your free estimate, call 1-800-210-9401. It's toll-free. That's 1-800-210-9401. Or better yet, visit their showroom on West State Street in Olean for the inside price on the finest home furnishings. See Nanette's. Do it today.
I'm using my secret weapon, number 34.
You'll never get past my linebacker.
I can't believe this.
Watch this.
Want some real excitement? Order ABC college football games on pay-per-view in addition to the game on your local ABC station. Check Friday's sports section of USA Today for games available in your area, or call your local cable company today.
Kind of looks like a helmet. It's kind of cool.
Welcome back to SportsCenter. In this episode of Bumps, Bites, and Bruises, Bledsoe's playing with a broken record. What does Blake do for an encore? And the Bears are still downright giddy about their bit of trickery.
Wow.
No matter what else happened, we beat Notre Dame, and that's enough for me.
We're better than that, and that's the only thing that really bothers me. We're a great team. We're a really good team. We can play with anybody in the country.
First down, Cincinnati. Blake, quick drop, looks, fires the... Oh! Five! And he goes in! Oh, my God! Cincinnati! Unbelievable!
I'm man enough to say that I didn't play well. I played like horse, really. And like when you give up 33 points, you can't win a ball game. It's nothing spectacular Pickens did. It was nothing spectacular Blake did. It was all what I didn't do.
There's all formation to the left side. Toss goes to Conway, rolling right. Conway looking to throw. He's a former quarterback. Conway pops it back over the middle, and it's broken up and caught on the play by getting to the back.
That was probably the weirdest thing I've been in my life.
Wow. Feels good to win.
Today was very, very key for this team, and Cowboys are giving them fits the last couple of years, and we want to come in and change that.
It showed them that they got the work to beat us now. They just can't come out and think that they can beat us. It was a whole different ballgame. Got different players. Got people now who are going to fight back.
You guys in this area didn't give us a chance in hell to win this game.
I know everybody had written us off.
Every person I talked to, every person I heard on TV, saw in the newspapers, anything, Patriots don't stand a chance to winning this game.
I know I can do better. I know the team can do better. We will do better.
If you're just joining us, having watched the Monday Night Football game, welcome. Let's recap tonight's top stories. Houston, goodbye. A year after he led them to an 11-game winning streak, Jack Pardee is out as the head coach of the Oilers. They tanked Pardee and assistant head coach Kevin Gilbride Monday morning after the 1-9 start and promoted defensive coordinator Jeff Fisher to replace Pardee. The Oilers had been hearing rumbles that other teams might be approaching Fisher in the offseason. The 36-year-old was given a contract for the rest of this year with options for the next 3 seasons. Our Chris Mortensen reports he's already chosen quarterback Billy Joe Tolliver and running back Lorenzo White as starters. Also in the news during the day, the replacement will be needed at USC. The other big story, George Raveling, who helped restore basketball to respectability at the University of Southern California, has retired. Raveling had just been released from the hospital a week ago after 6 weeks of treatment following a serious auto accident. At the age of 57, Raveling appears poised to go full-time into TV. And the big story, the baseball salary cap is officially off the table. Boston Red Sox CEO John Harrington, the new chief of the owners' negotiating team, has confirmed that the owners' new offer to the players will not include a salary cap. As we reported yesterday, when the owners present their new proposal to the players and the talks resume outside Washington Thursday, it will be based on some kind of payroll tax. Unsaid but just as important, if the owners present a new offer without a salary cap in it, they can no longer impose a cap in the event of a bargaining impasse. The union's Gene Orza says tonight he was not overly optimistic about this news because, quote, there are tax programs that are worse than a cap. Coming up on this program, the Monday Night Football highlights. Does he belong on the NFL's 75th anniversary team or not? The Bills would reluctantly vote for him. The highlights from Pittsburgh when Dan and I resume in a moment.
Still dialing 0 to call people collect? Stop. It's expensive. What to do? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. As seen on TV, dialing 1-800-COLLECT instead of 0 saves the people you call up to 44%.
Hi, Grandma.
Dial it today.
The world's most modern medicines often grow wild. This root provides natural vigor and vitality. Herbal Plus Full Spectrum Multi-Ginseng is 4 times stronger than other herbs. We can show you how to use it at GNC. We're making herbs a growing part of your life.
What exactly do you do for a living?
Cleaner.
You mean you're a hitman? Cool.
For the perfect assassin, business can be murder.
Cops killed my family. If you don't help me, I'll die tonight.
But this time,
let the girl go.
It's personal.
We're going in.
Be careful. From the celebrated director of La Femme Nikita. I told you. The Professional, rated R. At theaters Friday.
To establish dominance, the bighorn sheep gather every fall in the upper pastures. Squaring off from one another, they recoil on their powerful legs and smash heads with such force that the sound can be heard for miles across the valley. Battles such as these will continue throughout the season, determining control of this hard-fought piece of turf.
The Canadian Football League on ESPN2. It's wild.
Recapping the lead football story, if it ain't broke, goes the oldest cliche in the book, don't fix it. Did the Houston Oilers, winners of 11 straight last year, winners of 1 game this year, firers of head coach Jack Pardee this day, suddenly forget how to read? How did they get from that good to this bad that quickly? With more on an oil well fire so bad even Red Adair couldn't put it out, here's Bob Lee.
If anyone should get fired, it should be me.
I'm as much to blame as the rest of the guys are.
Except players like Dishman and Jeff Fisher's defense are the cornerstone on which the Oilers base this change. The seeds of this dismal season were sown before this year, against a background of departures, defeat, and divisiveness. Houston's run of 7 straight playoff appearances, the longest in the NFL, will end this year. The Oiler offense, once a run-and-shoot marvel, now an anemic shell, managed by 3 different quarterbacks, Billy Joe Tolliver, Bucky Richardson, and Cody Carlson, the quarterback Houston kept rather than Warren Moon. The Oilers at 1-9 with 6 straight losses are the only NFL team under 50% in completions. No Oiler quarterback is among the top 15 in the conference. Moon was traded for 3rd and 4th round draft picks. He's now the NFL's 2nd leading passer in yardage. His team en route to a playoff berth, 1st in the division.
We got capped out fairly soon.
And so, from Houston's defensive line, William Fuller left for Philly, Sean Jones to the Packers, and Wilbur Marshall's leadership departed for Arizona. Pro Bowl offensive lineman Mike Munchak retired, a blow to the running game. Even before those moves, 2 playoff defeats hung heavy on the Houston psyche. The playoff loss 3 seasons back in Denver, when John Elway rallied the Broncos for a late win, and the record-setting collapse in Buffalo, when a 3rd quarter, 32-point lead dissolved into an epic loss. That led to the hiring of defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan. His successful but tempestuous season included a punch at Kevin Gilbride on a nationally televised game. Jeff Fisher played for Ryan in Chicago. He coached for him in Philadelphia, and the Oilers said they dared not risk losing Fisher.
One thing was worrying us about Jeff Fisher, if we didn't kind of come to the point now of making this offer to him, that we felt he was going to get some offers at the end of this year. We're hearing that through the grapevine and some pretty reliable sources, and we think we have the man. We had the man right on board here who we wanted to be our head coach and not dilly-dally around with him and make him the head coach at this time.
Ironically, last year, Gilbride was refused permission to discuss the head coaching job at South Carolina. Fisher is tasked with instilling a new attitude and practice ethic on this team and utilizing more of the younger players.
It's important to me that these players realize that this isn't an 8 to 5 job where you bring your lunchbox. This is going to require a commitment. We're going to ask a lot of extra time from the quarterbacks and the receivers, 2 of which I have talked to already that are very excited about this move.
A new coach for a team decimated by free agency and struggling to cope with the new reality in the NFL.
under the new system, if we do things correctly, I don't think you ever have to hit a rebuilding year. You can turn around and have a chance to be much, much better next year. How much better, who knows? But if we're smart with the personnel, bring in the people that we need to get, you know, we can have this thing turned around instantly.
On the field, bad combination tonight for Buffalo. The Bills stumbled against the Steelers in a Monday night game last year. Jim Kelly was hit so hard he forgot what state he was in, and he's from Pennsylvania. This year's Bills just came off a loss to the Jets. They were a game and a half behind Miami in the AFC East, and the Steelers have become the Raiders of the 90s. 5-0 on Monday night under Bill Cowher. Bad combination for Buffalo. To Three Rivers, bad combination here too. Greg Lloyd and Rod Woodson already the defense ready for his Bills possession. Kelly finds Andre Reed. Have a seat, please. Gary Jones gets him. It's 3-zip Pittsburgh. Anderson, 300th field goal. Second down from Buffalo. Kelly, Rod Woodson, and he could go most or a large part of the way. He's gone. 10-0. Playing up to his reputation in this game for sure. The Steelers refuse to let up. Second quarter, first down. Kelly looking for Thurman Thomas. Looking for Carnell Lake nailing Thurman Thomas. Same possession, second down. Kevin Green, hello. Hello. Third down, Chad Brown says hi. It's like last year all over again. Even Bruce Smith was hurting, possibly sympathy pain. The only thing that went right for Buffalo in the first half, Steve Christie from way downtown. Bang! 51-yarder by a half an inch. His 17th straight, but it's still 13-3 Steelers. Second half, Bills looking to come back first and 10. Kelly to Andre Reed. Cuts the lead to 16-10. Bill Cowher listening to the auto traffic reports. And Steeler punter Mark Royals. Last week, 8 punts inside the 20, the NFL record. And he does it again. First makes the fair catch at the 6. Everybody says, yay, Mark. 2nd and 5. Woodson meeting Kelly again. Fumble. Gerald Williams recovers. It's a Pittsburgh touchdown, 23-10, and the wheels have fallen off. Marv Levy is upset. Woodson is pumped. Kelly and Levy and the Bulls frustrated again, and Jim Schaffner, the quarterback's coach, the recipient of some of that anger. Midway through the fourth, still down 23-10. It's Kelly to Reed, popped by Darren Perry. It just continued on as it always has for Jim Kelly the last 2 years in Pittsburgh. That's Carnell Lake again. And as we mentioned, Jim Schaffner, the quarterback's coach, not having a nice conversation with Jim Kelly. I can read his lips, and he is not saying hi. So the Steelers go to 6-0 on Monday Night Football. Anderson with field goals of 39, 39, and 31 yards. They go on now to face Miami. And the Dolphins are now 2 games ahead of the Bills as Kelly goes 22 of 43 for 212. 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions. And the big number for him, he has 6 sacks, the victim thereof. Yep.
When Keith and I return, we'll have a final word on the Monday night affair.
You know, I don't understand why you're being so tough on me, Mr. Rashad. I mean, you weren't this tough on Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen. I mean, why, you know, just because I want to play? Maybe you and I should play sometime, you know? And then,
I'm not trying, Mr. Murray, I'm not trying to play in the National Basketball
You can call me
Association.
Bill. I mean, you know, it's not going to be Mr. Murray. You know, I know it's... Think of this as the locker room.
You were calling a press conference saying that you were going to play basketball, and we found out here today that you never played in college, you never played in high school.
So?
100% cotton wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
You know, the watch program has changed many people's lives, including some pretty tough customers like Dr. Andreas Mueller.
Television, detestable. It's all in my book, Television, Opiate of the Masses.
Are you Dr. Mueller?
Yes. After talking to Mr. Eric Thomas, my new book is now titled Television, Opiate of the Masses, except for 2.5 hours on Sunday night.
See, everybody can watch, like this Sunday night when the 49ers play the Rams.
Sportscenter is brought to you by 100% cotton wrinkle-free Dockers. Pants so soft, they shrug off wrinkles.
Well, the Buffalo Bills, 5-5, the last team to go 5-5 and end up in the Super Bowl, the 1979 Rams. We're going to have more post-game reaction from Three Rivers. Pam Oliver there to bring that to you. The Jazz beating the Knicks, stopping a 3-game losing streak. Highlights at 2:30 Eastern.
Salary cap is off the table in baseball, and Bruce McNall has apparently just quit as president of the L.A. Kings. Those details later on Keith Olton.
Dan Patrick up close is next. Roy talks with Todd Christensen. We'll see you.